Okay, parents, teachers, camp counselors, bus drivers, anyone who has to deal with kids. What are the funniest things you've heard kids say? Any notable conversations? Hysterical kid logic. When my daughter was 7, she asked me what year I was born. I told her 1978. She replied, "Jasper horror, you were born in the 19s. One of my favorite silly incidents was when a kid tried to get a pen from his pocket and then said, "Whoops, it's in my other pants," and then suddenly stuck his hand inside his pants and pulled out the pen. Dude was just wearing 2 pairs of pants for no good reason. Edit for clarification. They were definitely pants, not underwear. As he took off the outer layer later, it was not for warmth, because it was about 85 degrees. And I could understand this from a 5-year-old. But he was 11. No words were involved. But I watch a kid take 1 bite of her hot dog and put the rest in her backpack. I was babysitting my friend's kids and we were playing make-believe in the park. One kid wanted to be a superhero. One kid wanted to be a pirate. And one kid told me he wanted to be a sexy llama. Now, I'm not one to harsh a kid's imagination, but there were a bunch of moms and kids in the park that I didn't know. And I didn't want a kid to be yelling out how sexy he was to me. So I asked him to maybe call himself a beautiful llama and he could be a sexy llama in secret. He agreed, but then proceeded to yell out, "Hey, look at me. I'm a sexy, I mean a beautiful llama. Just like you wanted me to be. Just like we talked about. I can keep our secret." I'm a part-time nanny. The girl I care for was about 2.5 when she potty trained. She trained really quickly and had only had one other accident at this point. She got really engrossed in play, stood up, and froze as the pee ran down her leg. I was doing dishes and only saw her top half from the other side of the counter. But I'm also a preschool teacher and I know the look well. "Did you have an accident?" I asked, with a very serious look on her face. She said, "Go get the Clorox." I once asked my potty training son to hold it for a second. He peed in his hand. I take kids on hikes and teach them about nature for a living. One night, I was taking a group of 12 fifth graders for an evening excursion into the woods to listen for owls and other nocturnal creatures. So there I am, walking down this dark trail in the forest, a gaggle of citified children and their parents following behind me, when one of the kids at my elbow speaks up. Why you know. Usually in movies about places like this, it's around this time that you turn into a monster and kill us all. My nephew, who is 7, loves sports. Anytime he gets to go to a Sticks Sporting Goods he is in heaven, because of all the sports gear. Lately, every time he walks into the store he inhales deeply and says, "I love the smell of Sticks." Or 3-year-old, upon rising from the floor, noticed her foot had fallen asleep. She rubbed it, looked at me and said, "Midzo, I have owie sprinkles." Best ever description of the sensation. Preschool age. My daughter says I pooped my pants today. Me. What? Where? Daughter. In the middle. I used to be a PNA at a long-term care psych facility. My unit had about 16 preteen girls. One girl was fuming about her peers' behavior, and she and I had this exchange. Me. "Okay. Liz, you removed yourself from the situation. That's great. What coping skills can you use to help yourself feel better?" Liz, "I'm already using my coping skills. 'Cause what I really wanna do is choke the witch." I used to be a camp counselor. One time a 5-year-old boy told me I was his least favorite Kardashian. My nephews and I have been watching Beat Bugs on Netflix. The theme song is "All You Need Is Love." The 5-year-old said, "Why is love all you need? What about Nerf guns?" The funniest thing I heard while working at a daycare was a conversation that went like this. 5-year-old. Me. I'm not that old. With a slight tone of indignation. How old do you think I am? 5-year. The last number. Edit. Thanks for the first gold, kind stranger. Reassurance. One day my daughter leaned in and said to me, "Don't worry, mommy. I love you and would never kill you. I tutored a kid with Asperger's, who inevitably had wonderful ways of phrasing things. Me. So how did you approach this math problem? Him. Well, first I tried X. 4. And that did not bring about good fortune. Edit. To everyone who read it as tortured, let me just say that I wasn't a great tutor, but I wasn't that bad. This kid's focus was music, which was really cool. He could play a bunch of different instruments quite well. Me. So what do you like to play? Him. Pink Floyd. I'll learn all the parts for each song. Me. Oh. Cool. What songs do you know? Him. All of them. Worked as a camp counselor for kids with special needs. This boy with autism got in trouble for backtalking. So he and I went to the big boss to talk things through. Nobody spoke until the boy blurted, "If assholes could fly, this place would be an airport." I had to leave the room because I was trying not to laugh. I'm an ESL teacher. I decided to teach the first graders the classic song Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes. It seemed to go well, and we moved on to something else. While absorbed in the new activity, the little boy at the front was quietly singing the new song he had just learned. Head, shoulders, cheese and toast. Cheese and toast. Close enough, I guess. Camp counselor once overheard a 8-year-old boy say his favorite boxer was Muhammad Gandhi. I was watching the SpongeBob movie with my 4-year-old the other day, and I was singing along to the "I'm Ready" promotion part. She turns straight around, looks me dead in the eyes, and said, "Mum, you don't even have a job." Well, thanks kid, looking after you is enough for me. Last year around the holidays, I was driving past a nativity scene with my 5-year-old nephew and my sil. My nephew yells, "Mama, why are they roasting that baby? We are not a religious family." I asked an 11-year-old student, "How are you?" And his response was that he was happy because his sideburns finally grew in. As my son was learning to talk, he had a problem pronouncing TR sounds, and we didn't discover it until we were driving down a busy highway and he was identifying the vehicles that we would pass. Car, car, duck, car, big duck, car. Later, he told my wife about my truck, Daddy Duck Mama, and told our friend about its lack of cleanliness. Dirty duck. /u/thrigig. /u/thrigig. Being the pal he is. Bought my son the big book of trucks and my wife almost killed him. Edit. Undarked. I was watching two 5-year-old girls try to learn a hand clap song, where they had to hit hands diagonally across. One of them kept messing up, and the other girl charmingly shook the other with both hands, saying, "You simply don't understand it." I taught inner city kids through a volunteer group. They were sometimes awful to each other in hysterical ways. One of my 11-year-old girls was coloring a picture. This boy Robert kept messing with her, like tugging her paper while she was drawing and knocking into her pencil. Finally she slammed her hands down and yelled, "Why don't you go visit your dad picking up trash on the freeway with the other inmates?" Obviously I intervened, but inside I was dying laughing. He ducked with the wrong girl. Was at a buffet-style restaurant getting some salad. Noticed a man walking up to the salad bar holding hands with his very young, appeared to be around 4 years old, daughter. As they got up to the table he bent down and asked, "What would you like, sweetie?" She looked up at him with an irritated expression and said, "Well, how am I supposed to know if you don't pick me up so I can see?" My mom was a camp counselor back in the day in southern Ohio, and tells this story all the time. She helped inner city kids experience the outdoors for the first time. One kid was scared of a pig, and proclaimed, "Get that wolf away from me." Edit. My mom, not mom. For context, my little cousin, 6 at the time, called me over Hangouts for a video call. I was sick at the time. Here's the conversation. Me. "Do you want to see auntie? I'll take the phone to her." Her. "No. You can't go see her." Me. "Why don't you want to see auntie?" Her. "I want to see auntie. But you're sick." YTB. "You'll get auntie sick." Me. AWW. "That's so sweet. Wait. Don't you care if I'm sick? Auntie has a car and can buy me candy. You don't. So I don't care. And that was the day I was put in my place by a first grader. Edit. My clubbie's volunteering at a daycare in 2 weeks. So I'm sure to have some more good ones soon. When my son was 3, he was walking toward the Christmas tree with his hand out. My ex-wife told him to be careful with the tree. And he replied, "It's okay, Mama. I won't duck it up." Couldn't really punish him when he used it in the right context. My youngest kid recently told me he thought the lyrics for the Rolling Stones song were, "You can't always get what you want. But if you cry sometimes, you get what you need," which actually kind of explains a lot. I'm not any of the above, but I once had a kid tell me her mom was a naughty person. And she knew it, because she overheard her dad calling her mom a naughty little thing in the bathroom once. Camp counselor here. I had a little 7-year-old girl randomly come up to me and say my brother is going to hell. He killed himself. I teach 7th grade English. Was attempting to explain to my class that many authors were not famous during their lives and only became well known after they died. One of my slower students looks at me, and I can see the wave of realization hit her as she throws up her hand and shouts, "Just like Harambe," with the biggest smile on her face. Yes, kid. Just like Harambe. Not me, but my boss. Principal. He likes to play jokes a lot. So the other day he strolls into the grade 4 room and convinces the kids that Christmas is cancelled. Yup. There is no Christmas this year. They've moved it to January and might get rid of it altogether. All the kids start whining and complaining, getting worried. Before he can explain it's all a joke, a little boy from the back shouts out, "Duck, I hate that Trump."